I'm so happy you're here tonight. Your brain is processing emotions right now while you rest, sorting through the day's tensions, deciding what needs attention and what can finally be released. Tonight, you'll discover why your mind sometimes races in the dark hours and understand why this midnight restlessness might actually be your brain's way of protecting you. Welcome to Get Sleepy Science. Now settle in. You're in your safe space while your brain quietly repairs itself, clearing toxins, preparing for tomorrow. Allow yourself this moment of peace. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about nighttime waking and racing thoughts, from the ancient alarm systems still firing in your modern brain, to the chemistry that pulls you from sleep, to the bridge between midnight worry and morning clarity. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. Your gentle support, a like, subscribe, or a quiet share, creates a pathway for more sleep seekers to discover and brings us closer to protect this sanctuary for every tired mind who finds their way here. One sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where memories rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Waking up at night with a racing mind is one of the most common sleep complaints worldwide. Research from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine shows that approximately 35 to 40% of adults experience this phenomenon regularly. You're lying in darkness, perhaps at 2 or 3 a.m., and suddenly your brain feels electrically alive with thoughts, worries, plans, or replays of conversations. Your heart might beat a little faster. Your body feels tense despite being tired. This isn't insomnia in the traditional sense, where you can't fall asleep initially. This is something different. A specific type of nighttime arousal that happens during sleep maintenance. Scientists call these episodes nocturnal awakenings with cognitive hyperarousal. The experience can feel frustrating, even concerning, because your mind seems to be working against your desperate need for rest. But as we'll discover tonight, this midnight mental activity serves purposes your conscious mind doesn't yet understand. Your brain doesn't actually turn off during sleep like a computer powering down. Instead, sleep is an incredibly active process involving distinct stages that cycle approximately every 90 to 110 minutes throughout the night. During deep, non-REM sleep, your brain consolidates memories and clears metabolic waste through the glymphatic system. A discovery confirmed by University of Rochester research published in Science in 2013 and further refined through 2024 studies. During REM sleep, your brain becomes nearly as active as during waking hours, processing emotions and strengthening neural connections. The transition points between these sleep stages create natural moments of lighter sleep, brief arousals that usually last only seconds. Most people experience 10 to 15 of these micro-awakenings per night without ever remembering them. But sometimes, instead of drifting back down, your brain clicks fully awake. And that's when the racing thoughts begin. One of the primary triggers for nighttime waking involves your body's stress response system. Your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, often called the HPA axis, regulates cortisol production throughout the 24-hour cycle. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, though it serves many essential functions beyond stress response. Normally, cortisol levels drop to their lowest point around midnight to 4 a.m., allowing deep, restorative sleep. However, recent research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, published in 2024, shows that even mild chronic stress can dysregulate this rhythm, causing inappropriate cortisol spikes during the night. These cortisol surges can partially wake you, and once awake, your brain interprets this physiological arousal as a signal that something requires urgent attention. Your mind then searches for what that something might be, often landing on worries, regrets, or unsolved problems, even when nothing is actually wrong. The timing of nighttime awakenings often follows a predictable pattern related to sleep architecture. Most people who wake with racing thoughts do so during the second half of the night, typically between 2 and 5 a.m. This isn't random. During the first half of the night, your sleep cycles contain more deep, slow-wave sleep, which is harder to wake from. The second half of the night contains proportionally more REM sleep and lighter stage 2 sleep, both of which are easier to interrupt. Additionally, your body's circadian alerting signal, which helps keep you awake during the day, reaches its weakest point in the early morning hours. This creates what sleep researchers call the forbidden zone for sleep paradox, where your sleep is simultaneously lighter and your waking arousal systems are at their lowest, making you vulnerable to anxious, racing thoughts if awakened. When you wake at night, your brain isn't in the same state as during daytime waking. Neuroimaging studies using functional MRI scans from Stanford's Sleep Sciences Center reveal distinct patterns of brain activity during nocturnal awakenings compared to normal waking. The prefrontal cortex, which handles rational thinking, planning, and emotional regulation, shows reduced activity during nighttime waking. Meanwhile, the amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, often shows heightened activity. This creates a perfect storm for anxious thinking. Your amygdala is scanning for threats without the prefrontal cortex's rational perspective to provide context or proportion. Small concerns can feel enormous. Unlikely scenarios can seem probable. Your brain is essentially stuck in a threat assessment mode without access to its usual reasoning tools, which is why nighttime worries often seem absurd when reviewed in morning light. The content of racing thoughts during nighttime waking tends to follow specific themes across different people. Research published in the journal Behavior Therapy in 2023, analyzing thousands of sleep diaries, identified common patterns. Most nocturnal rumination involves one of 5 categories: interpersonal conflicts or social situations, work or academic performance, health concerns, financial worries, or existential questions about meaning and mortality. Interestingly, these themes don't necessarily reflect the most important issues in someone's life. Instead, they represent topics that carry emotional charge without easy resolution. Your nighttime brain gravitates toward ambiguous situations where closure feels impossible. Problems with clear solutions rarely dominate nighttime thinking. Instead, your mind circles endlessly around situations that resist simple answers, relationships that remain unresolved, or questions that philosophy has debated for millennia without conclusion. Temperature regulation plays a remarkably significant role in nighttime awakenings and the mental state that follows. Your core body temperature naturally drops during sleep, reaching its lowest point in the early morning hours. This temperature decline helps maintain sleep continuity. However, if your bedroom is too warm, if you're using heavy bedding, or if you're experiencing night sweats from hormonal changes or medication side effects, this can trigger awakening. Research from the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience, published in 2024, shows that even a 1 degree Celsius increase in core body temperature can fragment sleep and increase cortical arousal. Once awake due to temperature dysregulation, your brain interprets the physical discomfort as a vague sense of unease or threat, which then becomes the emotional foundation for racing. Anxious thoughts about whatever your mind latches onto. Alcohol consumption, even hours before bedtime, significantly affects nighttime waking and thought patterns. While alcohol initially acts as a sedative, helping many people fall asleep faster, its metabolism creates problems in the second half of the night. As your liver processes alcohol, it produces acetaldehyde and triggers a rebound effect in your central nervous system. Research from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine shows this rebound typically occurs 3 to 5 hours after drinking, coinciding with early morning hours. The rebound activates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight branch, causing heart rate increases, shallow breathing, and cortical arousal. This physiological activation wakes you, and once awake, your brain searches for psychological reasons to match the physical anxiety, latching onto worries that might not have troubled you otherwise. The phenomenon of racing thoughts during nighttime waking has a specific name in sleep medicine: cognitive pre-sleep arousal or nocturnal cognitive intrusions. But these labels describe symptoms without explaining purpose. Recent evolutionary psychology research suggests these nighttime awakenings might actually be remnants of an ancient protective mechanism. Our ancestors didn't sleep in secure, locked homes. They slept in environments where genuine threats existed. Predators, rival groups, environmental dangers. Brief awakenings throughout the night allowed sentinel-like scanning of the environment for threats. In modern humans, this system still activates, but instead of scanning the physical environment for predators, your brain scans your psychological environment for social threats, reputation damage, resource loss, or relationship problems. The mechanism remains. Only the threat categories have changed. So yes, your racing mind at night is already revealing something profound about how your brain works. It's not simply malfunctioning or being difficult. Instead, it's demonstrating an ancient survival strategy that no longer matches your modern environment. Your brain is trying to protect you, using tools designed for different challenges. The thoughts feel intrusive and unhelpful because they are, in fact, unhelpful for the problems you actually face. Your ancestors needed to wake and assess whether that sound in the darkness was dangerous. You don't need to wake and assess whether your email to a colleague was properly worded, but your brain doesn't yet know the difference. Understanding this doesn't immediately stop the thoughts, but it changes how you relate to them. The neurotransmitter balance in your brain shifts dramatically between sleep and wake states, and these shifts help explain racing thoughts. During waking hours, your brain maintains high levels of neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and histamine, all of which promote alertness and cognitive activity. During sleep, particularly non-REM sleep, these alerting neurotransmitters decrease, while GABA, an inhibitory neurotransmitter, increases. GABA essentially tells your neurons to quiet down. However, during nocturnal awakenings, you can experience a confusing middle state where alerting neurotransmitters surge upward while sleep-promoting GABA hasn't fully released its hold. Research from MIT's Picower Institute, published in Nature Neuroscience in 2025, shows this creates a neurochemical imbalance where your brain has enough alertness to think, but not enough regulation to think clearly or calmly. Your hippocampus, the brain region crucial for memory formation, becomes particularly active during certain stages of sleep, especially during REM periods. It's replaying experiences from recent days, consolidating important memories while pruning unnecessary details. Sometimes this memory consolidation process can trigger awakening, especially if the memories being processed carry strong emotional content. Research from Germany's Max Planck Institute shows that when your hippocampus reactivates emotional memories during sleep, it can trigger partial arousal of other brain regions, particularly the amygdala. You might wake with a vague emotional feeling, anxiety, sadness, or guilt that doesn't have a clear source. Your conscious mind then searches for explanations, constructing narratives to make sense of feelings that originated from unconscious memory processing. Sleep pressure, the biological drive to sleep, builds throughout your waking hours through the accumulation of a chemical called adenosine in your brain. Adenosine is a byproduct of cellular energy use. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine accumulates, creating that tired, heavy feeling. Sleep clears adenosine away. However, this clearing process isn't uniform throughout the night. Research shows adenosine levels can fluctuate during sleep, sometimes increasing slightly during certain sleep stages. If adenosine drops too low during the night, particularly during extended light sleep periods, the sleep pressure that was keeping you unconscious diminishes. With reduced sleep pressure, your arousal systems can more easily push you into wakefulness. And once awake, your mind often races to fill the unexpected conscious time. Light exposure, even very dim light, can trigger nighttime awakenings and affect the mental state that follows. Your eyes contain specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, or EPRGCS, which detect light and send signals directly to your brain's master circadian clock in the suprachiasmatic nucleus. These cells are particularly sensitive to blue wavelength light, but respond to any light. Research from the Lighting Research Center shows that exposure to as little as 10 lux, dimmer than most bathroom nightlights, can suppress melatonin and trigger cortical arousal. If you briefly open your eyes during a normal sleep transition, any ambient light can send alerting signals to your brain. Once awakened, your thought patterns often turn negative or anxious. Breathing patterns during sleep influence brain states in ways that affect nighttime waking. During deep sleep, your breathing becomes slow, regular, and diaphragmatic. During REM sleep, breathing becomes more irregular, sometimes rapid and shallow. Transitions between these breathing patterns can trigger brief arousals. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that when breathing shifts from the slow, deep pattern of non-REM sleep to the irregular pattern of REM, the change in oxygen and carbon dioxide levels can activate arousal centers in the brainstem. Once awake, if your breathing remains slightly rapid or shallow, possibly from low-level anxiety or poor bedroom air quality, this respiratory pattern feeds back to your brain as a signal of stress, generating worried thoughts. The default mode network, a collection of brain regions active when you're not focused on external tasks, plays a central role in nighttime rumination. This network becomes active during mind-wandering, self-referential thinking, and remembering the past or imagining the future during healthy waking hours. Other brain networks can regulate the default mode network, keeping it from spiraling into repetitive negative thinking. However, research from Yale University published in PNAS shows that during nighttime awakenings, connectivity between the default mode network and regulatory networks becomes disrupted. Your default mode network activates strongly, generating thoughts about yourself, your life, and your concerns, but lacks the usual regulatory input that would evaluate these thoughts rationally or redirect attention elsewhere. Medications can significantly influence nighttime waking patterns and the quality of thoughts during those awakenings. Many common medications affect neurotransmitter systems in ways that fragment sleep or alter mood during nighttime awakenings. Beta blockers, often prescribed for high blood pressure, can suppress melatonin production. Certain antidepressants can suppress REM sleep, leading to REM rebound awakenings. Stimulant medications for ADHD can have lingering effects that interrupt sleep architecture. Corticosteroids like prednisone directly activate stress response systems. Research published in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology catalogues how more than 150 commonly prescribed medications can affect sleep continuity and nighttime cognitive states, creating vulnerability to racing thoughts. Hormonal fluctuations throughout the menstrual cycle, during pregnancy, or during perimenopause and menopause profoundly affect sleep continuity and nighttime thought patterns. Progesterone, which rises during the luteal phase of the menstrual cycle, has sedating properties and enhances GABA activity. When progesterone drops before menstruation, sleep becomes more fragmented. Estrogen withdrawal during perimenopause can trigger night sweats and awakenings. Research from the North American Menopause Society shows that approximately 40 to 60% of perimenopausal women experience sleep disturbances, with severity varying across the transition. During hormonally triggered awakenings, the accompanying physical discomfort or temperature dysregulation often catalyzes anxious thinking patterns about health, aging, or life changes. Blood sugar regulation during sleep affects brain function in ways that can trigger both awakening and racing thoughts. When blood glucose drops too low during the night, a condition called nocturnal hypoglycemia, your body releases counter-regulatory hormones, including cortisol, glucagon, and adrenaline to raise blood sugar back to safe levels. This hormonal release can gently pull you from sleep into wakefulness. Research from Diabetes Care shows this is particularly common in people with diabetes, but can occur in others who eat high glycemic foods before bed, skip dinner, or drink alcohol in the evening. The adrenaline surge not only wakes you but creates physical sensations of anxiety. which your mind then tries to explain through worried thoughts. Your sleeping environment's sound landscape influences both sleep fragmentation and the content of nighttime thoughts. Continuous background noise, like white noise machines or fans, can mask disruptive sounds and improve sleep continuity. However, intermittent sounds, traffic, a partner's snoring, household sounds, trigger orienting responses in your brain even during sleep. Research from Northwestern University shows that your sleeping brain continues processing sounds, categorizing them as familiar or safe, or novel and potentially threatening. Novel sounds are more likely to trigger awakening. Once awake, if you hear continued concerning sounds or strain to identify ambiguous noises, this auditory vigilance prevents return to sleep and generates anxious thought patterns. Chronic pain conditions create a bidirectional relationship with nighttime waking and racing thoughts. Pain disrupts sleep continuity by triggering arousals when you shift positions or when pain levels fluctuate. Research from the Journal of Pain shows that sleep deprivation, in turn, lowers pain thresholds, making existing pain feel more intense. This creates a cycle where pain causes poor sleep, which amplifies pain, which further disrupts sleep. During pain-related nighttime awakenings, your thoughts often become consumed with the pain itself. Worries about underlying conditions, frustration about lost sleep, and anxiety about functioning the next day, despite exhaustion and discomfort. The relationship between caffeine consumption and nighttime awakenings extends far beyond the obvious. Caffeine has a half-life of approximately 5 to 6 hours, meaning if you consume 200 milligrams of caffeine at 2 p.m., you still have about 100 milligrams in your system at 8 p.m. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine shows that caffeine consumed even 6 hours before bedtime can reduce total sleep time and increase nighttime awakenings. Moreover, caffeine specifically reduces deep, slow-wave sleep, making your sleep lighter overall and more vulnerable to disruption, increasing the likelihood of waking with racing thoughts. Your circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock running on approximately a 24-hour cycle, doesn't simply control when you feel sleepy or alert. It also influences cognitive styles and emotional processing throughout the 24-hour day. Research from the University of Toronto shows that the circadian timing system affects how your brain processes negative versus positive information. During nighttime hours, particularly the biological night, between 2 and 6 a.m., your brain shows increased reactivity to negative stimuli and reduced ability to regulate negative emotions. This circadian influence means that the same concern that feels manageable during daylight can feel catastrophic at 3 a.m. Sleep inertia, the gentle fog upon awakening, affects cognitive function for anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes after waking. However, during nighttime awakenings, you can experience a strange state that's both sleep inertia and hyperarousal simultaneously. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking, remains partially offline due to sleep inertia. Meanwhile, emotional brain regions activate quickly. This combination means you're thinking actively, but not thinking well. Research from the journal Sleep shows this state predisposes you to cognitive distortions, catastrophizing, overgeneralization, and worst-case scenario thinking that wouldn't occur during normal waking hours. So we're beginning to see a pattern emerging. Nighttime waking with racing thoughts isn't one single problem with one single cause. Instead, it's the convergence of multiple systems: physiological arousal, neurochemical imbalance, circadian influence, cognitive bias, and evolutionary programming, all creating a perfect storm for mental hyperactivity at exactly the time you need rest most. These early facts establish that your racing nighttime mind isn't weakness or failure. It's the predictable result of biological systems operating according to their design, even when that design no longer serves your modern needs. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence, heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing. Now we continue. The brain's threat detection system, centered in the amygdala, operates continuously, even during sleep, though in a modified state. Recent research using specialized EEG recordings from the Lyon Neuroscience Research Center shows that your amygdala maintains what scientists call sentinel processing during sleep, continuously monitoring for danger signals. During rapid eye movement sleep, the amygdala actually becomes more active than during waking hours, processing emotional memories and running simulated threat scenarios. This heightened amygdala activity during REM sleep explains why dreams often contain threatening or emotionally intense content. When you wake from or during REM sleep, your amygdala is already highly activated, primed for threat detection, which immediately colors your thinking with anxiety, even when no actual threat exists in your safe. Dark bedroom. The neurotransmitter norepinephrine, also called noradrenaline, plays a crucial role in both wakefulness and emotional tone. During deep, non-REM sleep, norepinephrine levels drop to nearly zero. During REM sleep, they surge. During waking hours, moderate norepinephrine levels support alertness and attention. However, high norepinephrine levels create anxiety and hypervigilance. Research from the National Institute of Mental Health shows that during nighttime awakenings, especially those occurring during or shortly after REM periods, norepinephrine can spike to levels higher than normal waking, creating a state of heightened alertness combined with emotional reactivity. This neurochemical state makes neutral thoughts feel urgent and minor concerns feel like emergencies requiring immediate mental attention. Your brain's energy metabolism shifts between sleep and wake states in ways that affect cognitive function during nighttime awakenings. During deep sleep, your brain consumes approximately 20 to 25% less glucose than during waking hours. Blood flow to certain brain regions, particularly the prefrontal cortex, decreases. When you suddenly wake during the night, your prefrontal cortex doesn't instantly resume full function. It takes time for blood flow to increase and for glucose metabolism to reach waking levels. Research from UCLA using PET scanning shows this process can take 20 to 30 minutes. During this time, you're conscious and thinking, but the parts of your brain that provide rational perspective, emotional regulation, and proportional response remain partially offline, leaving you vulnerable to distorted thinking. Chronic stress affects not only cortisol rhythms, but also inflammatory markers throughout your body. Stress upregulates cytokine production, creating systemic low-grade inflammation that disrupts sleep architecture. Research published in Psychoneuroendocrinology in 2024 shows that people experiencing chronic stress have elevated evening inflammatory markers, which can trigger microarousals during sleep transitions. This inflammatory pathway represents a separate route through which psychological stress becomes physical sleep disruption. The combination of hormonal dysregulation and inflammatory signaling creates multiple vulnerabilities for nighttime awakening. Once awake, the lingering inflammatory state contributes to a sense of malaise that your conscious mind interprets through worried thoughts about health, relationships, or life circumstances. The gut-brain axis, the bidirectional communication system between your digestive system and your brain, influences nighttime sleep and cognition. Your gut contains approximately 100 million neurons, sometimes called your second brain, and produces about 90% of your body's serotonin. Though gut-produced serotonin primarily affects digestive function rather than brain mood directly. However, gut health influences brain serotonin production through indirect pathways involving the vagus nerve and immune signaling. Research from University College Cork shows that gut microbiome composition influences anxiety levels, stress resilience, and sleep quality during nighttime hours. Your gut also follows circadian rhythms. Digestive discomfort, even subtle, can trigger awakenings, and the disrupted gut-brain signaling contributes to the anxious quality of thoughts during those awakenings. Social jet lag, the mismatch between your biological sleep timing and your social obligations, creates chronic sleep disruption that increases vulnerability to nighttime waking with racing thoughts. Many people maintain different sleep schedules on workdays versus free days, essentially giving themselves jet lag every week. Research from the University of Munich shows this irregular sleep timing desynchronizes your circadian rhythms, reduces deep sleep, and increases cortisol variability. When you wake at night while experiencing social jet lag, your body doesn't know if it's supposed to be asleep or awake, creating confused signaling that manifests as alert wakefulness combined with exhaustion. A perfect state for rumination. Age-related changes in sleep architecture partly explain why nighttime waking with racing thoughts becomes more common as people get older. Starting around age 40, deep, slow wave sleep begins declining, while the percentage of time spent in lighter, stage 2 sleep increases. Older adults experience more frequent brief arousals, sometimes 20 to 30 per night, compared to 10 to 15 in younger adults. Research from the University of California, Berkeley shows that aging also affects the brain regions that regulate worry and rumination. The prefrontal cortex, which normally inhibits excessive rumination, shows reduced volume and connectivity with age, making it harder to shut down racing thoughts once they begin. Trauma history. Even trauma that seems resolved or occurred long ago can create lasting changes in sleep neurobiology that increase vulnerability to nighttime waking with anxious thoughts. Trauma alters the sensitivity of your threat detection systems, making your amygdala more reactive to potential danger cues. Research from McLean Hospital shows that trauma also affects the connectivity between your amygdala and prefrontal cortex, weakening your ability to regulate emotional responses. during nighttime awakenings. These trauma-related changes mean your brain more easily enters threat assessment mode and has greater difficulty calming itself, leading to prolonged periods of wakeful rumination about safety, trust, or existential concerns. Your sleeping position and physical comfort influence not just whether you wake, but also the mental state upon waking. Sleeping on your back increases the likelihood of breathing disruptions, which trigger arousals. Sleeping on your stomach can increase tension in your neck and back. Research from the Sleep Research Society shows that even minor physical discomfort, a slightly twisted spine, pressure on a joint, accumulated muscle tension, can trigger protective awakenings. Once awake, if your body remains uncomfortable, this physical unease creates a background sense of something is wrong that your mind attempts to explain through worried thoughts, even when the actual problem is simply that your pillow needs adjusting. The phenomenon of middle-of-the-night insomnia or sleep maintenance insomnia differs from difficulty falling asleep initially. Research distinguishes between sleep onset insomnia and sleep maintenance insomnia because they involve somewhat different mechanisms. Sleep onset insomnia often relates to excessive arousal at bedtime, difficulty disengaging from the day, or poor sleep habits. Sleep maintenance insomnia more often involves dysregulated stress systems, subtle anxiety disorders, or disrupted circadian rhythms. Studies from Johns Hopkins show that people with sleep maintenance insomnia often have different personality traits than those with sleep onset insomnia, including higher levels of trait anxiety, perfectionism, and rumination tendency. Seasonal changes affect nighttime waking patterns and the mood quality of thoughts during those awakenings. Reduced daylight exposure during autumn and winter affects circadian rhythms, melatonin production, and mood regulation. Research from the National Institute of Mental Health shows that seasonal affective disorder isn't just about daytime depression. It also includes sleep disruption, particularly increased sleep duration, with reduced sleep quality and more nighttime awakenings. During winter months, when nighttime awakenings occur, the thoughts often carry themes of sadness, hopelessness, or fatigue rather than the anxiety more common during other seasons, reflecting the seasonal influence on neurotransmitter systems. Screen time before bed affects not only sleep onset, but also sleep maintenance and nighttime cognitive state. Blue light from devices suppresses melatonin. But research shows the content you consume matters as much as the light exposure. Engaging with stressful news, work emails, social comparison on social media, or emotionally arousing content activates your stress systems and primes worry networks in your brain. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that pre-sleep cognitive stimulation, especially emotionally charged content, increases the likelihood of nighttime awakening and influences the content of racing thoughts during those awakenings toward the themes you engaged with before bed. The subjective experience of time during nighttime waking creates psychological distress that compounds the racing thoughts. When you're awake at night, time feels like it's passing very slowly. Research on time perception shows that negative emotional states dilate subjective time. Minutes feel like hours. This temporal distortion creates additional anxiety because you begin calculating how few hours of sleep you'll get if you don't fall asleep immediately. This performance anxiety about sleep itself then becomes another source of racing thoughts, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where worry about sleeplessness prevents the relaxation necessary for sleep. Many people develop significant concern about the possibility of waking during the night, a form of anticipatory anxiety that ironically increases the likelihood of the feared awakening. Research on fear of insomnia shows that reducing this anticipatory dread through exposure or acceptance practices often reduces actual nighttime waking frequency. When nighttime waking becomes less catastrophic in your mind, when it shifts from terrible emergency to uncomfortable but survivable, your stress systems activate less intensely during sleep, creating less profound awakenings and shorter durations of wakefulness. Now we can see the evidence building from multiple angles. Nighttime waking with racing thoughts involves stress hormones, neurotransmitter imbalances, inflammation, circadian disruption, gut-brain signaling, pneumoresponse, physical discomfort, seasonal factors, and pre-sleep cognitive stimulation. These aren't separate problems requiring separate solutions. They're interconnected systems that influence each other. Your stress affects your gut, which affects your inflammation, which affects your sleep architecture, which affects your stress. Understanding this interconnection reveals that improving nighttime waking requires addressing multiple leverage points simultaneously, not searching for a single magic solution. You're still here, still awake, still drifting with us through these stories. Take a slow breath. Notice how your body feels a little lighter now, as if the weight of the day has loosened its grip just slightly. We're exploring consciousness together, you and I and everyone listening in the quiet dark, wandering through facts like thoughts drifting through the mind. There's no rush, no destination, just the gentle momentum of understanding carrying us forward. Let's continue. Here's where the story becomes more nuanced. Nighttime waking with racing thoughts, as distressing as it feels, might serve adaptive functions your conscious mind doesn't recognize. Some evolutionary psychologists propose that nighttime vigilance and cognitive activity during sleep maintenance allowed our ancestors to process complex social information during vulnerable nighttime hours. Your brain might be using nighttime awakenings to work through social dilemmas, relationship uncertainties, or status concerns that your daytime mind, busy with immediate tasks, doesn't have bandwidth to process. Research from the University of Pennsylvania suggests that REM-associated awakenings specifically facilitate creative problem-solving and emotional processing, even though the subjective experience feels unpleasant and disruptive. The content of nighttime racing thoughts often reflects unresolved emotional material that your conscious mind suppressed or avoided during the day. Psychoanalytic theories, supported by modern neuroscience research, suggest that sleep reduces the psychological defenses you maintain during waking hours. During nighttime awakenings, with your defenses lowered but consciousness present, suppressed concerns surface. Research from the journal Emotion shows that topics you deliberately avoid thinking about during the day become more intrusive during nighttime awakenings. The racing thoughts, while uncomfortable, might represent your psyche's attempt to force attention onto issues that require processing, integration, or resolution. Issues you've been unconsciously pushing away during busy daylight hours. Nighttime racing thoughts often involve a specific cognitive pattern called counterfactual thinking. Imagining how situations could have gone differently, your mind replays conversations, considering alternative responses. You imagine different choices you could have made. Research from the journal Cognition shows that counterfactual thinking serves important psychological functions, helping you learn from experience, prepare for similar future situations, and maintain a sense of control. However, during nighttime awakenings, when your prefrontal cortex isn't fully online, counterfactual thinking becomes repetitive rather than productive. You circle the same alternatives endlessly without reaching resolution, creating the sensation of racing thoughts stuck in an exhausting loop. The relationship between nighttime waking and creativity reveals an unexpected benefit to what feels like pure frustration. Many artists, writers, scientists, and inventors throughout history reported that nighttime waking periods, however unwelcome, sometimes produced their most innovative ideas. Research from the journal Thinking and Reasoning shows that the unique brain state during nighttime awakenings, reduced prefrontal inhibition combined with active associative thinking, can facilitate novel connections between distant concepts. Your daytime mind, focused and logical, sometimes inhibits creative leaps. Your nighttime mind, freed from logical constraints, makes associations your waking mind wouldn't consider. The challenge is capturing these insights without fully awakening. Acceptance-based approaches to nighttime waking, derived from mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy, show remarkable effectiveness compared to fighting the experience. Research from Massachusetts General Hospital, published in JAMA Psychiatry, shows that when people reduce their struggle against nighttime waking, paradoxically, both the frequency and distress of awakenings decrease. Fighting racing thoughts, trying to force yourself back to sleep, telling yourself you should be sleeping, all increase arousal and make the problem worse. Accepting the awakening, allowing thoughts to be present without engaging or fighting them, reduces the additional anxiety layered on top of the initial arousal. Your nighttime thoughts often catastrophize, predicting worst-case scenarios that seem compelling at 3 a.m. but absurd by morning. This catastrophizing follows predictable cognitive distortion patterns identified in cognitive behavioral therapy research. You engage in fortune-telling, confidently predicting negative futures. You practice mind reading, assuming you know others' negative thoughts about you. You employ all or nothing thinking, seeing situations in extremes without middle ground. Research from the Beck Institute shows these cognitive distortions occur more frequently and intensely during nighttime awakenings because the prefrontal cortex regions that normally reality test your thoughts remain partially offline, leaving distorted thinking unchecked. The act of looking at a clock during nighttime waking dramatically increases the distress and duration of racing thoughts. Research from sleep medicine clinics shows that seeing the time triggers immediate calculations. How much sleep you've lost. How much remains before your alarm. How terrible you'll feel tomorrow. These calculations generate anxiety, which increases arousal, which delays return to sleep. Sleep specialists now recommend either removing clocks from view or covering digital displays. Without time information, nighttime awakenings feel less urgent. You can't calculate lost sleep, which reduces the performance anxiety that perpetuates wakefulness. The phenomenon of thought suppression during nighttime waking creates the opposite of its intended effect. Research by psychologist Daniel Wegner famously demonstrated that trying not to think about something makes that thing more intrusive. His white bear experiments showed that attempts to suppress thoughts increase their frequency and intensity. During nighttime awakenings, if you try to force racing thoughts away, command yourself to stop thinking, or desperately try to make your mind go blank, you create a paradoxical state where the thoughts become more persistent. Your effort to suppress them makes them stronger and more intrusive. Physical sensations during nighttime waking, with heart palpitations, chest tightness, muscle tension, shallow breathing, create a feedback loop with racing thoughts. Research on anxiety physiology shows that your brain interprets physical arousal symptoms as evidence that threats are real and urgent. If your heart is racing, something must be dangerous. If your breathing is shallow, you must be in danger. Your thoughts generate physical symptoms, and your physical symptoms convince your mind the thoughts are valid. This bidirectional feedback between body and mind creates a self-amplifying cycle that makes nighttime awakenings progressively more intense. Halfway through our journey, the answer is emerging. Overthinking at night reveals the gap between your brain's evolutionary design and your modern life's demands. The mechanism is ancient and well-intentioned. The execution is poorly suited to contemporary challenges. Your brain treats social slights like physical threats, uses crisis thinking for non-crisis situations, and employs emergency alertness during safe rest. The thoughts race because your threat detection system, your emotional processing system, and your problem-solving system all activate simultaneously without the regulatory control that would coordinate them into productive thinking. Let each breath guide you to realize time is yours, a separate stream that only you are living, while the vast universe continues to spin, expand, change. This second you're breathing, listening, is unique. Cherish the present moment, knowing that right now, your time is unique in the universe, and we continue drifting. Understanding changes the experience, even when understanding doesn't immediately stop the thoughts. When you wake at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts, knowing that your amygdala is hyperactive, your prefrontal cortex is partially offline, and your threat detection system is scanning for social dangers that don't exist. This knowledge creates distance. You can observe the process rather than identifying completely with the content. Research on metacognition shows that recognizing thoughts as neurological events rather than truths reduces their emotional impact. The thoughts still occur, but they carry less authority, less urgency, less emotional weight. The practice of cognitive diffusion, separating yourself from your thoughts, proves particularly helpful during nighttime awakenings. Instead of thinking, "I'm going to fail tomorrow," you think, "I'm having the thought that I'll fail tomorrow." This subtle linguistic shift, adding "I'm having the thought that," creates psychological distance. Research from acceptance and commitment therapy shows this diffusion reduces thought-related distress by approximately 30%, even when thought frequency doesn't change. You're not fighting thoughts or trying to make them disappear. You're changing your relationship to them, observing them rather than being them. Progressive muscle relaxation, systematically tensing and releasing muscle groups, interrupts the racing thoughts, physical tension, feedback loop. When you notice nighttime rumination, instead of engaging with thought content, you can shift attention to sequential muscle relaxation, starting with your toes and moving upward. Research from behavioral sleep medicine shows this practice reduces both the physical arousal, maintaining wakefulness, and provides a neutral focus that prevents further cognitive engagement with worried thoughts. The technique isn't trying to force sleep, but rather creating physiological conditions that allow sleep to return naturally. The breathing pattern, called physiological sighing, 2 inhales through the nose, followed by extended exhale through the mouth, rapidly reduces physiological arousal. Research from Stanford University shows this breathing pattern, performed for just 5 minutes, decreases heart rate variability, markers of stress, faster than traditional meditation techniques. During nighttime awakenings with racing thoughts, using physiological sighing interrupts the stress response, maintaining arousal. You're not trying to think better thoughts. You're directly addressing the physiological arousal that makes the thoughts feel urgent and compelling. The narrative you tell yourself about nighttime waking shapes the experience more than the objective facts of the situation. If you interpret nighttime waking as evidence of fundamental brokenness, each awakening confirms that narrative and generates associated distress. If you interpret the same awakenings as your brain processing complex information, the experience shifts. Research on illness narratives shows that changing the story you tell about symptoms changes both the subjective distress and, sometimes, the physiological markers associated with those symptoms. Imagery rehearsal. Visualizing yourself handling nighttime waking calmly creates neurological patterns that activate during actual awakenings. Research on mental simulation shows that imagined experiences create similar neural activation patterns as real experiences. During daytime hours, you can practice imagining waking at night, noticing racing thoughts, using your chosen coping strategy, and drifting back to sleep. This mental rehearsal makes the actual behavior more accessible during nighttime awakenings when your cognitive resources are limited. The concept of stimulus control, maintaining bed and bedroom exclusively for sleep and intimate activities, helps reduce nighttime racing thoughts. When you work, worry, argue, or engage with screens in bed, your brain associates the bed with those activities. Research shows that strict stimulus control, only getting in bed when actually sleepy, getting out of bed if awake more than 20 minutes, strengthens the association between bed and sleep, making racing thoughts less likely to trigger when you're in bed. Temperature manipulation provides a concrete intervention for nighttime waking. Cooling your core body temperature by keeping your bedroom around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit and using breathable bedding facilitates sleep continuity. Research shows that warming your hands and feet through socks or a warm bath before bed causes peripheral vasodilation, drawing blood away from your core, creating the temperature drop that signals sleep readiness. This physiological approach bypasses racing thoughts entirely. The timing of exercise affects nighttime waking patterns. Morning or afternoon exercise improves sleep quality and reduces nighttime awakenings. However, vigorous exercise within 3 hours of bedtime can increase core body temperature and activate stress systems, increasing awakening likelihood. Research from the Journal of Sleep Research shows even the timing of light stretching or yoga matters, with evening gentle movement proving beneficial, while evening intense activity proving disruptive for many people. Magnesium supplementation, particularly magnesium glycinate, shows modest benefits for sleep maintenance in research studies. Magnesium influences GABA activity and nervous system regulation. Research from the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences shows that magnesium supplementation, 200 to 400 milligrams before bed, can reduce nighttime awakenings and improve subjective sleep quality, particularly in people with documented magnesium insufficiency, which affects a significant portion of Western populations due to modern dietary patterns and soil depletion. The practice of writing worries on paper before bed, a technique called cognitive offloading or worry journaling, reduces nighttime rumination. Research from Baylor University shows that spending just 5 minutes writing specific tasks or worries for the next day reduces nighttime awakenings and improves sleep quality. The physical act of writing appears to signal your brain that the concerns are captured and don't need active mental rehearsal. Paradoxical intention. Trying to stay awake rather than trying to sleep sometimes resolves performance anxiety-related nighttime waking. Research on sleep paradoxes shows that when people stop trying to force sleep and instead gently try to remain awake, the pressure and anxiety decrease, allowing natural sleep mechanisms to function. The effort to stay awake quickly becomes boring, and sleep arrives unbidden. The role of expectations proves powerful. Research on placebo effects in sleep medicine shows that believing an intervention will help creates measurable improvements in sleep quality. This isn't just psychological. Placebo effects involve real neurobiological changes. Approaching nighttime waking interventions with genuine expectation of benefit, rather than cynical skepticism, enhances their effectiveness through both neurological mechanisms and behavioral persistence. We now understand that nighttime racing thoughts exist at the intersection of biology, psychology, and behavior. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's responding to signals, some accurate, some anachronistic, some magnified by circumstance. The thoughts aren't truths requiring immediate resolution. They're neurological events, observable, understandable, and workable, even if not fully controllable. Sleep restriction therapy. Counterintuitively limiting time in bed to match actual sleep time often helps resolve chronic nighttime waking. By spending less time in bed, you build stronger sleep pressure and consolidate fragmented sleep into fewer, deeper periods. Research from cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia shows this technique, though initially challenging, reduces nighttime awakenings within 2 to 4 weeks for most people. Your chronotype. Whether you're naturally a morning person, evening person, or somewhere between, influences when nighttime awakenings are most likely to occur. Research on circadian typology shows that chronotype misalignment, when sleep timing conflicts with natural preference, increases nighttime awakenings. Evening types forced into early schedules often experience fragmented sleep in early morning hours, while morning types staying up late experience more middle-of-the-night disruptions. Understanding your chronotype helps you work with your natural biology rather than against it. Evening types shouldn't fight their tendency toward later sleep timing. Morning types benefit from earlier bedtimes that align with their natural rhythms. The concept of sleep latency, how long it takes to fall asleep after lights out, matters less than sleep continuity. Research shows that someone who falls asleep in 30 minutes but stays asleep for 7 hours experiences better restoration than someone who falls asleep in 5 minutes but wakes repeatedly, reducing the number of awakenings. Even if initial sleep onset takes longer, improves both subjective sleep quality and next-day cognitive function. Quality and continuity outweigh speed of sleep onset. Nighttime racing thoughts often involve rumination about interpersonal relationships, replaying conversations, worrying about others' perceptions, or anticipating social situations. Research on social anxiety and sleep shows bidirectional relationships. Poor sleep increases social anxiety. Social anxiety disrupts sleep. During nighttime awakenings, your brain often fixates on social concerns because humans are fundamentally social creatures, and social exclusion or conflict represented genuine survival threats throughout evolutionary history. Modern social worries activate ancient threat systems. The practice of self-compassion during nighttime waking reduces both the distress of the experience and sometimes the duration. Research by Kristin Neff shows that treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a struggling friend activates caregiving neural circuits that counteract threat responses. Instead of harsh self-criticism about being awake, about racing thoughts, about poor sleep, self-compassion acknowledges the difficulty while maintaining warmth. This shifts your internal emotional tone. Light therapy. Exposure to bright light during specific times of day can indirectly improve nighttime waking by strengthening circadian rhythms. Research shows that morning bright light exposure, 10,000 lux for 30 minutes, advances circadian phase and increases sleep pressure by evening. Conversely, evening bright light delays circadian phase. Strategic timing of light exposure. Bright light morning, dim light evening. Creates more robust day-night distinction that protects against nighttime awakenings. The neurotransmitter serotonin serves as a precursor to melatonin, your body's primary sleep hormone. Factors that support healthy serotonin levels, adequate protein intake for tryptophan, vitamin B6, healthy gut function, can indirectly improve melatonin production and sleep quality. Research shows dietary patterns affect neurotransmitter synthesis. The Mediterranean diet, rich in tryptophan sources, omega-3 fatty acids, and fiber, associates with better sleep quality and reduced nighttime awakenings. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, delivered even through digital apps, shows effectiveness comparable to medication for chronic nighttime waking, with longer-lasting benefits. Research comparing CBTI to sleep medications shows medications work faster, but effects disappear upon discontinuation, while CBTI requires several weeks but creates lasting changes. The behavioral and cognitive shifts, stimulus control, sleep restriction, cognitive restructuring, create sustainable improvements. The relationship between bedtime routines and nighttime waking extends beyond simple sleep hygiene. Research shows that consistent pre-sleep routines serve as temporal cues, signaling your brain that sleep approaches. These routines needn't be elaborate, just consistent. The predictability itself proves valuable. Your brain begins initiating sleep preparation processes when you begin your routine, creating smoother transitions into sleep and more stable sleep maintenance. Nighttime racing thoughts have taught us that sleep maintenance depends on multiple interacting systems. No single intervention addresses all factors. Your sleep improvement likely requires multimodal approaches, addressing both physiological arousal and cognitive patterns, both daytime behaviors and nighttime responses. The good news: small improvements across multiple domains compound. You don't need perfection in any area, just incremental progress across several. As we cross the midpoint of nighttime hours, we see that racing thoughts emerge from the complex interaction of ancient survival mechanisms, meeting modern psychological stressors. The pattern isn't random. It's predictable, understandable, and most importantly, workable. You're not broken. Your brain is doing what evolution designed it to do. The path forward involves working with these systems rather than against them. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel acceptance. Like waves on a shore, thoughts come and go. Some nights bring rough seas. Others bring gentle lapping. You cannot control the ocean, but you can learn to float, to ride the waves without fighting them. Let go of the need to control your mind. Accept what arises without judgment. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. We're almost there now. So could racing thoughts at night change how we understand consciousness itself? They already have. Nighttime waking reveals that consciousness isn't simply on or off, awake or asleep. Instead, consciousness exists in multiple hybrid states, where different brain regions operate at different levels simultaneously. You can be conscious enough to think, but not conscious enough to think well. This complexity challenges simple models of awareness. Your nighttime mind offers glimpses into mental processes usually hidden from awareness. During daytime, executive control suppresses unwanted thoughts, regulates emotions, maintains social appropriateness. At night, with executive control diminished, you observe what your mind does without that regulation. The thoughts that surface reveal your brain's default concerns, priorities, and processing patterns, the operating system usually hidden beneath the user interface. The racing thoughts aren't random. They cluster around themes that matter deeply to you: relationships, competence, safety, mortality, meaning. Research on thought content shows remarkable consistency within individuals. Your particular pattern of nighttime concerns reflects your core psychological needs and unresolved concerns. The thoughts, while distorted in presentation, point toward areas genuinely requiring attention, integration, or healing. Nighttime waking offers unexpected gifts despite its discomfort. Many people report that reframing nighttime awakenings as thinking time rather than failed sleep time reduces suffering. While this cognitive shift doesn't eliminate the awakenings, it often changes the emotional experience. Some keep notebooks bedside, capturing insights that arise. Others use the time for gentle meditation. The shift from resistance to acceptance proves transformative. Your brain's nighttime activity connects you to human experience across time and culture. Ancient peoples experienced nighttime waking similarly. Historical texts describe midnight contemplations, dark worries, existential questioning during vulnerable night hours. You're not uniquely broken. You're experiencing a universal human pattern, shaped by biology shared across our species and circumstances shared across human societies. The distinction between you and your thoughts becomes clearer during nighttime waking. You observe thoughts arising without willing them. They appear unbidden, sometimes unwanted. This observation reveals a profound truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness within which thoughts occur. This recognition creates freedom even when thoughts remain difficult. Nighttime silence amplifies internal mental activity without daytime distractions, without sensory input competing for attention. Your internal mental landscape dominates awareness. Research on sensory deprivation shows the brain generates internal content to fill experiential void. Your racing thoughts partly reflect your brain, filling the silent darkness with self-generated activity. Normal neurological behavior misinterpreted as problem. The vulnerability of nighttime creates conditions for psychological honesty, difficult to access during defended daylight hours. At night, alone, dark, quiet, pretenses dissolve. You face concerns you avoid acknowledging publicly. This brutal honesty, while painful, offers opportunity for genuine self-understanding. Nighttime thoughts sometimes speak truths your daytime self won't hear. Your nighttime mind bridges past and future. Racing thoughts often involve remembering past experiences and imagining future scenarios. Both functions associated with the same brain networks. You're time traveling mentally, but without good temporal orientation. Past regrets and future anxieties collapse into the urgent present of nighttime wakefulness. The existential dimension of nighttime waking deserves acknowledgement. Darkness and stillness naturally evoke contemplation of mortality, meaning, purpose, fundamental human concerns. Philosophers throughout history describe nighttime as particularly conducive to existential reflection. Your racing thoughts sometimes represent genuine philosophical questioning poorly timed for practical rest needs. So yes, racing thoughts at night reveal something profound. They show that your mind pursues its own imperatives, processing threats, integrating experiences, maintaining relationships, seeking meaning. Sometimes those imperatives conflict with your immediate need for rest. This conflict doesn't represent failure. It represents the inherent tension between different biological and psychological needs. You are complex. Your mind is complex. Nighttime racing thoughts are complexity made conscious. The real change involves transforming your relationship with the experience, moving from fear to acceptance, from resistance to curiosity, from judgment to compassion. Research on psychological flexibility shows that how you relate to difficult internal experiences matters more than the frequency or intensity of those experiences. Two people experiencing identical nighttime awakenings report vastly different distress levels, based entirely on their relationship with the experience. Nighttime waking teaches patience with yourself. Your brain operates according to principles beyond conscious control. Demanding it behave differently through sheer willpower rarely succeeds. Instead, you learn to work with your nervous system rather than against it. You create conditions conducive to sleep without forcing sleep. You observe thoughts without believing them or fighting them. This gentle approach often proves more effective. The thoughts that race through your nighttime mind might contain wisdom obscured by their anxious presentation, stripped of distortion and catastrophizing. Many nighttime concerns point toward genuine values or needs. A racing thought about relationships might reflect genuine need for connection. A thought about work might reflect need for meaning. Learning to decode the underlying need transforms racing thoughts from nuisance into information. Community and connection matter for nighttime waking. Knowing others share your experience reduces the isolation that intensifies suffering. Research on support groups for insomnia shows that shared experience provides validation and practical wisdom. You're not alone in waking at 3 a.m. with worried thoughts. Millions of people worldwide, right now, share this experience. This shared humanity offers comfort. Nighttime racing thoughts sometimes resolve problems that seemed intractable during the day. The different brain state, while uncomfortable, occasionally facilitates insight. History contains numerous anecdotal examples of scientific discoveries, artistic breakthroughs, and personal revelations attributed to nighttime waking. Though controlled research on nighttime problem-solving shows mixed results. Not all nighttime thinking is destructive rumination. The act of accepting that some nights will simply be difficult, that sleep won't always come easily, paradoxically reduces the frequency of those difficult nights. Research on acceptance shows that surrendering the demand for perfect sleep reduces the performance anxiety that perpetuates poor sleep. You develop trust that even bad nights don't destroy you. Your response to nighttime waking during vulnerable moments reveals and shapes your character. Do you respond with harsh self-criticism or gentle compassion? With rigid demands or flexible acceptance? With isolation or reaching out? These choices during difficult nights ripple outward, influencing how you treat yourself and others during all challenges. The stories you tell about your nighttime waking shape your identity and future. Are you someone with insomnia, defined by struggle? Or are you someone learning to work with a sensitive nervous system, defined by growth? Research on narrative identity shows these story choices profoundly influence psychological well-being and behavioral patterns. Nighttime racing thoughts ultimately remind you of something easily forgotten during busy daylight. You are not in complete control. Your body and mind operate according to rhythms and systems beyond conscious command. This recognition, while initially concerning, can become profoundly liberating. You're only responsible for how you respond. The present moment, even at 3 a.m., even with racing thoughts, contains possibilities for peace. Not the peace of absence of thoughts, but the peace of presence with whatever is. Mindfulness practices teach that you can be with difficulty without being destroyed by it. Both are true. Both can coexist. Your nighttime mind at its most active reveals your aliveness. Only living beings worry. Hope. Remember. Anticipate. Question. Seek meaning. Your racing thoughts, however uncomfortable, demonstrate your continued engagement with life, relationships, purpose. Your worry, paradoxically, confirms your vitality, your caring, your unfinished business with existence. The dawn always comes. However long the night, however relentless the thoughts, morning arrives. This reliable truth offers anchor during midnight despair. The night is temporary. The thoughts will soften with daylight. Your prefrontal cortex will come back online. Proportion will return. Nighttime waking invites you into deeper relationship with yourself. Not the self you present to others, but the self that exists in private, vulnerable moments. Meeting this self with kindness rather than judgment creates integration. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of rest. So why does your mind race when you wake at night? Because you're human. Because you care about things. Because your brain, shaped by millions of years of evolution, still protects you using ancient tools. The real answer isn't in the racing thoughts themselves, but in how you hold them. With compassion or judgment, resistance or acceptance. And so, our quiet journey through the nighttime mind comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from cortisol spikes and circadian disruptions in those early hours to amygdala activation and prefrontal offline states, discovering along the way that racing thoughts aren't enemies, but ancient protectors operating in modern darkness. From sleep, architecture, and neurotransmitter tides to acceptance and the spaces between thoughts, we've glimpsed how the mind at night is both vulnerable and alive, both suffering and seeking. The nighttime mind reminds us that consciousness is never simple, never fully controlled, always more complex than we imagine. Much of what troubles us happens in darkness, hidden from others, known only to ourselves. Your midnight struggles reveal not weakness, but the profound challenge of being aware, being human, being alive to worry and hope and question. Without these night thoughts, however uncomfortable, we would miss something essential about being conscious beings, navigating uncertain existence. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about consciousness itself, yours, to mine, everyone listening, all awareness everywhere, perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. You are not alone in the universe of minds. Let your entire being dissolve into the ocean of consciousness, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. If this thoughtful exploration of the mind made you relax, fall asleep, or sparked curiosity tonight, a gentle like and subscribe helps other sleepless souls discover this peaceful space too. It takes only a breath, but it lights the way for others. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, farther than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of nighttime waking to fade now, like morning mist dissolving in sunlight, leaving only the soft calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you down into the mattress, into rest, into the dark earth holding you safely. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a river current, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time and weight and thought no longer matter. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your thoughts will still arise. Your brain will still process and protect and worry. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, sleepy soul. And remember, your racing mind isn't your enemy. It's just trying to keep you safe in the only way it knows. Fall asleep to gentle facts. Relax, listen, and drift into sleep. Good night.